In these next few videos, I'd like to introduce the pen tool. The pen tool is arguably one of the most important tools in Illustrator and also exceptionally useful in other programs such as Photoshop and InDesign and several others, even video editing. So if you've never used the pen tool before, go ahead and create a new file, and it doesn't really matter what size or anything like that. We're just going to experiment. Just want to show you where the pen tool is. So the pen tool you can get to by hitting the letter P or finding it right here. If you have a single column, it should still be towards the top. And again, if you don't have all of these showing, if you go into the bottom for Edit Toolbar, you can reset your toolbar to include Advanced, which is pretty much all of your tools available, which is how I keep mine. It's a little intimidating with that many tools, but there's a lot of things I like to use. All right, so right now I notice I have a fill color of white and a stroke color of black. Important to take notice of that. So all I'm going to do is click once, move somewhere else, click again, move somewhere else, click again, and I can see how this begins to create these straight lines. So that blue line represents where it's kind of giving me this trajectory of where it thinks I want to go. I get a quick render of it. I click once and it puts that black line in. If I get near my starting point, I get a circular symbol at the end of my tooltip showing that it's going to close the shape. And now I'm starting a new shape because that one closed. Now, more than just clicking straight lines, if I click and drag, I can see curves appear. Now, these curves appear on the end of these handles, which we refer to as Bezier curves. And these are, this handle dictates the curve coming off of this side. This far right handle dictates the curve that will be coming. So it's predicting that smooth curve. So if I click here and now I drag again, it's always trying to kind of smooth out and make the most gentle transition from one curve to the next. This is a little bit challenging to get used to for some people, mostly because of the way it works in inverse. What I mean by that is if I delete these, I click once and I click again. If I drag down, my line goes up. If I drag up, my line goes down. I go right, it goes left. I go left, it goes right. So it's always working in the inverse of what I'm doing. So if I want to go up and to the left, I actually have to move my mouse down and to the right, and that'll curve my left and up sort of arc. Same idea when I get back to where I started. If I click, that'll close that shape. So just take a few minutes to play around with those ideas and just see how comfortable you are with it. So this would be a good time to pause this video and just experiment and see how far you can get. And it should be pretty easy to get a handle for it, at least when you're not trying to make anything in particular. So go ahead and do that now. All right, so hopefully you've got an idea for how this pen tool works. And here's a little bit of a challenge for you. Hold Command and hit the letter R if you're on a PC, Control R, and that'll show your rulers. In Properties, we can also get our rulers by clicking this button here. And we're going to talk about guides. Guides are these imaginary or invisible lines. They don't export out, they don't print, but I can pull them down, and these teal lines will be there for me to use to line things up with that nobody else can see but me. And a good test to see how good you are with the pen tool is to bring out a couple of these. So I'd say find a particular mark. It doesn't really matter how far apart. I'm just going to do something like this. And now in that, as if this was elementary school and that we're using these lines the way we would have been taught to, I'm going to reset my foreground color and background color. Or I'm sorry, not my foreground background, my fill and my stroke color. Click on my pen tool, and what I'd like you to do is try, and using these guides, write your name in script. And this is a good way to see how much control you have over this tool. So if you think it seems pretty easy, it's not too bad. Remember, the bottom should be, the letters should touch the bottom line when they're at their lowest point, and the top line when they're at their highest. And lowercase letters should be about this size of the middle line. You're going to have to kind of do some back and forths with this. So you're going to have to go over a different line. And a lot of this won't make sense yet, and that's okay. I just want you to get a feel for what you think this sort of does and what your expectations are. And then from there, we can talk about how we can get a little bit better at this. So I'm just doing a very quick version so you can start to see how we could get these letters together. So give that a try and see how well you can write your name and script, and then save this. We're going to do a couple exercises with the pen tool, and then we'll come back and we'll try it again, and we'll see how much better we got. All right, so give that a try and see where you can go from there. All right.